Good afternoon, YouTubers. By now you've probably concluded that I live by the motto, better late than never, so I procrastinate. Well, just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of something fascinating, but true. Hello, YouTubers. Do you remember about a year ago, I think it was 2 videos called Supernatural Occurrences or something along that line? I had actually meant to do 2 more of those at the time, but I just didn't get around to it. Well, I want to do one of them right now. Something happened this week that kind of reminded me about this. I thought, I'm going to share this with you, and maybe someday in the future I'll even explain what reminded me of it. This is rather fascinating. Oh, hey, before I get into that though, you see my tie? Do you like it? It's my Michigan football tie, because it's just about time for kickoff again. And guess who doesn't have cable once again? Now, I have not been able to watch football on TV since I came down here. Oh well, you know, that's the breaks, as long as they have a good season without me again. Anyhow, back to the fascinating story I have to tell you. About 5 years ago, well, let me back up even further than that. All of my life, and this is no joke, all of my life, I have been absolutely terrified of airplanes. I mean, mortified, terrified. It's like, I will never get on an airplane as long as I live. I was scared of flying, I was scared of heights, you name it. And some of it, you know, was psychological, no doubt, but then I also had an inner ear problem that made me very sensitive to any sort of motion. I couldn't ride an elevator for years. Remember I told you that I got my disc jockey license at the FCC building in Kansas City? Well, at the time, and maybe it still is, at the time it was on the 17th floor. And I took the elevator up and I screamed the whole way. It wasn't that I was scared of the elevator, but there was something about the motion that just like was, I don't know, unsettling in my ear, which went into my stomach, and it was like, I can't take this. So I had to go back a couple months later, and I walked up all 17 flights of stairs at that time. But, and then for decades after that, I did not go on an elevator at all. I would always walk the stairs. Now, you probably know that the last place I lived at before I came here had an elevator in it. Well, I had to get used to the elevator really darn quick, and now it's not a problem anymore. So I don't know what it was, but something back then in my ear just did not jive with the elevator. And occasionally, when I drive myself down the road, if there's like a dip in the road, it's like, it's crazy. My own driving upsets me. And I drive like an old man. I mean, really, I'm one of those Sunday drivers. So, occasionally riding with other people is like, but they're not Sunday drivers. Anyhow, that's all subsided now. Thank God. It was a very crippling time in my life. Anyhow, back to the thing though. I would not get on an airplane. I swore to myself I would never get on an airplane. One time I actually went to a graduation ceremony for the soldier that I knew. And they had all the guests step inside one of their crew, or what would you call those airplanes that carry the combat troops, troop airplane, whatever. I don't remember what model it was. The thing was shut off, mind you. It was just sitting there, and they just wanted us to come inside and take a look. Well, while we were in there, they started the engines. I nearly died. I was like, oh my God, we're going up. And they said, we're going up. I was like, please don't do this to me. And then they said, oh, we're only joking. Oh my God. Anyhow, so 5 years ago, out of the blue, for no reason at all, I wasn't even thinking about airplanes or nothing. All of a sudden one day, God gave me a vision. He took me up on a jumbo jet, and he showed me what it looked like and what it felt like. And it's like, wow. And after that, I really lost, for the most part, my fear of flying. I thought, that's fascinating. I don't know why he did that. I still don't plan to go on an airplane, but that was fascinating. And then a week later, he gave me another vision. He took me up on a smaller airplane. I'm not really sure maybe what size it was, like maybe like a 10-seater or less. And he showed me what that felt like. And after that, I just lost my fear of flying. Even though I still had not planned to go on an airplane, I was no longer afraid of the idea. And it did occur to me that the reason why he did this is because there was some reason for me to go on an airplane someday. I had no clue what it could be, because I still did not plan to ever get on an airplane. My preferred method of travel, beside driving, is railroad. Duh. I wonder why that is. Yeah, I used to work on the railroad. Anyhow, about 2 years after the visions, I'd been promoted at my job, and they asked me to go on a business trip. Wow. And of course, you know, they were going to fly us all down there. Well, being old school and out of habit, I offered to drive myself down there. Oh no, you can't do that. There's too much of a liability. You're going to have to fly. And so I did. And I'm telling you, I would not have been able to get on that airplane if it wasn't for those visions. So I took the flight and I had a marvelous time, and since then I've been on 2 other airplane trips and had a marvelous time. I love flying. And it's sort of funny because I even thought to myself from time to time, periodically, it would be fun to learn how to fly an airplane. You know, not a jumbo jet like that necessarily, but a small plane. Or who knows, maybe a jumbo jet. And it's not something that I ever think that I would have done, because first of all, I don't have money to buy an airplane to, be flying around the skies with it. But it's just an idea, a fantasy that I'd have periodically, and I just thought that was kind of keen. So I wanted to share that with you about the visions, because that was like, those were God-given visions. That was a supernatural thing. And it totally took away my fear of flying without ever having to even step foot on an airplane at the time. I just wanted to share that with you, and by gum, that's really all I had to say. Until next time, YouTubers.